Alright, what is going on, people of the internet? Welcome to something a bit different. Today I'm going to be talking about Ark, and there's been a bit of controversy surrounding this game because of what you're going to be seeing in the background here. What you're seeing in the background now is Ark Survival Evolved Scorched Earth, which is an absolute no-no. You don't release paid DLC while your game is in early access. It's an unwritten rule of gaming. Shame on you, Wildcard. Or what I'm going to be talking about in this video right now. Now, if you've been around my channel for any amount of time, you've probably already noticed that I am very critical of Ark. I don't like the way that the development for this game has gone. They haven't done a lot of optimizing. We're still waiting for DX12. Frame rate is utter trash. The balancing of this game is terrible. And it's probably going to become as a bit of a surprise that I'm actually on the side of Ark. When so many people are against it, I'm actually on their side in their move to release paid DLC while in early access. Keep in mind, I'm making this video completely on my own vocation. I've had no contact with Wildcard. They're not paying me to make this video or anything. This is simply me taking a look at the facts and realizing, and hopefully after this video, you'll be able to come to a conclusion on your own as well. Now, what you're seeing in the background here is gameplay of me just kind of walking around the world of Scorched Earth and Ark, and I have to admit, it's a bit intriguing actually. It's kind of cool. I really like new maps. You know, the center, Valhalla, I think is the other one that was named. The regular Ark map, I'm actually not a very big fan of. And now we have Scorched Earth. Now, this isn't going to be the focal point of this video at all. In fact, I'm going to be talking about why Ark actually released this DLC. Now, another game that did this was H1Z1. Their game was in its early access stage, and then they broke off into two separate games. How could you do this? I cannot believe that you would do this. However, Wildcard actually has a suitable excuse for reasons on why they have released a paid DLC for Ark Survival Evolved. Now, I've actually done my research in looking at this a little bit, and I've not really found any sources indicating that Ark itself has made much more than $60 million on revenue sales, which is a good amount of money, and some games don't even make that in their entire lifetime. We have to keep in mind that Ark is not a full-priced game. It's only like $20, $30 usually to get a copy of it, which is great. In fact, I wish more games would take this approach so I didn't have to pay $150 for Battlefield 1, but, you know, I digress. Yeah, basically, one of the reasons for Ark Survival Evolved to release a paid DLC, namely Scorched Earth in this case, is that you may not have heard about this, but a while ago there was a lawsuit going on between two developers, Wildcard, the people who were responsible for Ark Survival Evolved, and Trendy Entertainment. Those people are responsible for a game called Dungeon Defenders. That's one of their more popular titles. They have a sequel to it, Dungeon Defenders 2, and blah blah blah. They're releasing another one shortly, and whatever. That's not really the point. I have a piece of paper right beside me where I've taken notes for the better part of this week on what exactly the point of this lawsuit was, and it seems to center around a person named Jeremy Stieglitz, and he was working on Ark after leaving Trendy Entertainment. He was working with Trendy Entertainment as a position of, I believe his position was the creative director, and basically what happens was the lawsuit was filed late in 2015, and they finally came to a settlement for $40 million. And keep in mind, Ark itself has only really made about $60 million from what I've found. Some sources are even saying it's lower than that, like closer to $14 million. So $14 to $60 million of revenue generated. Take away $40 million of that, you've lost a huge budget for the development of your game, which you're kind of going to need if you're working on a huge project like Ark. Now, that's all well and good, of course, but why did they really release this DLC? Basically, the lawsuit was centered around the contractual agreement that Jeremy Stieglitz had signed when he left Trendy Entertainment. Basically, what happened was, and I'm getting most of this information from Kotaku, which is a kind of a web journal article magazine type thing, which talks about video gaming, and it's actually quite a very good source. So that's where I'm pulling most of this information from. Basically, what happened was when Stieglitz was working with Trendy Entertainment, he had some coworkers complaining about their working conditions. Basically, they were forced to work 7 days a week with continual overtime, and they were afraid if they complained they would receive retribution, or negative retribution, really, from Jeremy Stieglitz, who was the creative director of these people who were complaining about their working conditions. So basically what happens is Trendy moved him off of his development team. And basically the developmental team, the employees in that, complained to Kotaku because they were afraid that if they complained to the company itself, they would receive negative retributions from Jeremy Stieglitz, their so-called boss, really. And basically what happened was they moved him, and I'm not making this up here, they moved him to his own company named Nom Nom Games. So I'm going to post a picture of their Twitter feed. You can see, not particularly active, not a lot done with that gaming company. And what happened was, Stieglitz's wife, I believe her name, I've got it here somewhere, it's Suzanne Claire. She was a co-founder of Wildcard, who of course make Ark. And this was the focal point for their lawsuit agreement. Basically, when Jeremy Stieglitz had left Trendy Entertainment, they kind of said, you know what, we're going to sign a contractual agreement which is a no-compete clause, which means basically he cannot work with any other developmental studios, he cannot be in a paid position with other company, and he can't really make any video games of his own that would compete with Dungeon Defenders. Now, it was stated by Wildcard that Stieglitz actually was more of a consultant role, and he wasn't really doing a paid position type thing in development of Ark, but instead he was really just sort of there as a consultant. This, of course, was completely ignored in the long run of the lawsuit, and Ark was forced to settle for $40 million, which is actually not that much in comparison to the original $600 million that Trendy Entertainment was originally asking for. Now, I'm pulling this quote directly from Kotaku, and basically what they were saying was that Trendy's lawyers alleged that Stieglitz had violated contractual agreement not to compete with his former company and not to solicit Trendy employees. Now, the main problem with this here is, of course, the non-competing clause that was in his contract as he was leaving his previous company. And basically what that means is he cannot participate in any video game that would potentially compete with Dungeon Defenders, and this is why the lawsuit was started. Basically, what's happened here is, with the alleged efforts that Stieglitz had put into Ark, Wildcard was effectively going to get sued by Trendy Entertainment because, of course, you know, this is actually pulled directly from the court case that was between Trendy Entertainment and Wildcard. So Trendy Entertainment agreed that Ark's development had devastating impacts on Dungeon Defender's business, directly competing for players. You've got basically the same games here. One's a tower defense RPG, and the other one is an open world game where you can do nearly everything except launch a Kerbal into atmosphere and get a stable frame rate. But I digress, in case my sarcasm wasn't very good there. Dungeon Defenders and Ark are not the same games, they're not the same player base, and they're not competing for business. Yet Ark lost $40 million to this incredibly stupid lawsuit. That is why they had to release Scorched Earth. Of course, they would have better spent time and efforts into stabilizing their game or balancing game mechanics. But if you have any love for Ark, and in fact mine's starting to come back because of this, because I've seen so many people bashing Ark for this move. But if you have any love for this game, you have to understand that it's not going to get better unless they have funds to work with here. There is absolutely no way you can make a game like Ark, as optimistic as this game is, and bring it out of early access if you can't pay your developmental team. They lost a BS court case, and because of that, they were down huge on their profits. And that is actually the reason that I bought Scorched Earth, and it's kind of brought back my love for this game in a way, because I've seen so many people bad-mouthing this move without understanding the reason that Ark had to release it. So anyway, I hope that cleared up a bit of confusion for you. I don't know if I've got any points here that I might have missed. I've got a huge sheet of paper with a bunch of notes on it. Non-compete agreement was set to expire in August of 2015. Of course, this expired over a year ago, but you know, the court case still had to go on because he was a consultant for the release of Ark. Not in a paid position, of course. He was allegedly only a consultant on Ark and did no developmental work, but that cost Wildcard $40 million. Shtika's wife, co-founder of Ark. Yeah, I think I've got everything here. So anyway, I hope that this cleared up some confusion for you. I hope that you can probably look into this with a better understanding now of why Ark made the moves that they did. And I hope that you will judge Wildcard a bit more loosely. Now, of course, I had no contact with Wildcard here. This is strictly based on my own research and information. If you've got anything to add to the discussion, feel free to leave a comment. I read every single one of them that is left on any of the videos of mine, so please do leave a comment if you've got any information that I might have missed that might be useful for the people watching this video, and just join the discussions here. Let's get a civil discussion going in the comment section. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode of Whatever We Make. Peace!